folks, well, we're kind of at the witching hour here because we were told the church is closing and it's like 2 minutes to 5. This is basically St. Paul's Cathedral, and as the sign says, it was opened in 1766 by the Episcopal Trinity Church of St. Paul's Chapel. That's the oldest public building in continuous use and the only remaining colonial-era church in Manhattan. In 1789, George Washington prayed at St. Paul's after his inauguration as the first president of the United States. Anyway, we need to get going, but as you'll see, a lot of the church is now cordoned, a lot of the church cemetery stones are now cordoned off. Anyway, guys, we're going to have to be out of here fairly soon. But a large chunk of the cemetery is now cordoned off. The stones, basically some of them are landmarks in and of themselves. Some to famous personages, some to less so, sort of the unsung heroes of history, and maybe merchants, patrons of the church, some early town settlers. Again, a lot of the stones are now have any writing left. Most of it is illegible. And in about 30 seconds, we're going to be coming up to the Bell of Independence, which, from having read the previous sign, has been put here back in 2001. Here, I'll help you with your soda, coffee. Anyway, some of the above ground, what are they? They're not sarcophagi, crypts, yes. Some of the above ground crypts basically seem to be in a state of decay, but overall, it has a pretty nice atmosphere. And I don't know, we'd like to come back here probably at a later time when we're going to have a little more leverage in basically being able to describe this place adequately, because as I said, they're closing right now at 5 o'clock. Okay, just have a brief look at the Bell of Independence right here. Bell of Hope, I'm sorry. 2002 anniversary of the September 11 attacks. The Bell of Hope was presented to the people of New York by Lord Mayor of London and the Archbishop of Canterbury. It was created by England's renowned Whitechapel foundry, which also has the Liberty Bell in London's Big Ben. The bell's pedestal base was built locally from eastern brownstone, and directly beneath the bell inlaid on the pedestal is a brass footprint of the World Trade Center towers. The bell is rung every September 11th, symbolizing the triumph over tragedy. It looks to be a lot older than 2001, but hey, I guess a lot of mess. I'm going through the church because the outside exits to the cemetery have been closed. Yeah, this is quite beautiful. Yeah, show me. Stand up. Yeah, there's stripes all over the place, but it's kind of that. Yeah, show me. Wave to our viewers. Ha ha. It's been an interesting little excursion. So folks, we're outside of St. Paul's right now. As we're rushed out of the graveyard, basically surrounded on 3 out of the 4 sides. Right now we're on the Broadway side of it, which is the main entrance. Quite beautiful, the colonnades, the design sort of has an interesting architectural motif. One of the largest statues here in St. Paul's Cemetery is this one right here. Sarah Furman Williams died September 2nd or 21st. It's hard to say, 1848, age 76 years, but I don't know if the pinnacle, which kind of seems to have a bit of a strong Masonic motif, and the 2 shaking hands with the eagle sitting on them, and a large plaque of names, but it's a Masonic style needle right here in the church cemetery. And it's interesting that it's also preceded by a flagpole that has flag and one of the rainbow, curiously enough, beneath it, which is on. Here, you can see it's fanning out right now, which is kind of interesting to see something like that in a Catholic church. I guess globalism has gotten here as well, or perhaps always was. The last interesting flag here is with Alexander Hamilton, and it appears that he delivered a eulogy for Nathaniel Greene, Continental Army General at St. Paul's on Independence Day in 1879. First Lady Martha Washington, as well as Vice President John Adams and his wife Abigail, attended the service. Hamilton, along with his wife Eliza, his son Philip, and his sister-in-law Anglika Schuyler Church are buried in Trinity Churchyard, a few blocks south of St. Paul's. So there is another large graveyard here with some personas, people, yes, dead folks of historical significance. If you have any commentary, perhaps, to polish up our video?
Well, a couple things about this. It's one of the first churches in New York. It also opened right before the big fire that burned down about 25% of New York in 1700 and something. And the Trinity Church was actually mostly destroyed in that fire. This church was saved by a bucket brigade that protected it from the fire that raged on around it in the city and burned down most of the city because of the cow.
The cow burns down the city?
Pretty much.
Is that how it's, I get it, haha. The cow jumped over the rainbow. And knocked over the coal pot. Yes, and as the cow jumped over the rainbow, the flag went up to her, which we can't see from this angle, but we can see it again from the other. Come closer. Yeah. You see it right up there. There you go. So.
Yes.
Along with the church's equivalent of the Muppets. Is that Sesame Street?
I have no idea what that is.
I know, yeah.
Sock
Okay.
puppet
Commander, yeah. You have the Brown Bag Lunch Ministry. If you need a meal, you can always have it here 7 days a week. Hopefully a lot of you guys aren't in need of that, but if you are, you know that Fridays and Saturdays, 12:45 p.m. And lunch is also available at Trinity Church. Church. Broadway, Wall Street, Monday through Thursday, 12:45 p.m., Sunday, 2 p.m. For more information, you can also volunteer or visit at trinitywallstreet.org Brown Bag. Yes, you can also, yes, you read the sign right here. If you ever need a lunch or you want to volunteer, you can read it. Circle the church. There's some additional signs here. I think this monument here is to, well, it's quite large. Dr. McNevin. I'd have to look up exactly who that was. But it appears somebody of some importance because his monument is probably equivalent to that of some people that had historical significance in textbooks in this very day. Although I don't recall ever been familiar with Dr. McNevin. I have seen the monument before many times when I passed by here. This is not that monument to him. This is the Montgomery Monument. This was installed in St. Paul's portico in 1787 and was America's first national monument. Funded by the federal government, the monument memorializes Richard Montgomery, a British officer captain who became a general in George Washington's Continental Army and an ardent American patriot. Benjamin Franklin oversaw the monument's creation by Jean-Jacques Cathedral in France. Anyway, as we circle the cathedral, there's some additional information here. This is on St. Paul's fence and surrounds. You'll see highlights of its 250-year legacy since 1766. For more recent events, it's the place where President George Washington prayed after his inauguration as the nation's first president, where Ground Zero recovery workers were fed and cared for by volunteers in the months that followed the attacks of September 11. And it's a home to ministries of service to the local community, St. Paul's, and the story of church, city, and country. Anyway, I'm not going to go through the whole biography of this. It would be quite long. Churchyard wall, 1781, only a ditch and a temporary fence surrounding the chapel. In 1804, a brick wall was stuck. There's the statue of St. Paul. When children were told, in the early 19th century, children were told that when St. Paul heard the clock from nearby City Hall strike midnight, he flew down from his perch Yes, he flew down from the perch on the chapel to have a drink of water at a local pump. Today a replica decorates the chapel's Broadway facade while the original is kept safely inside. One day it might appear on eBay, Craigslist. So basically guys, there are many signs here, and if you are interested in finding out more about St. Paul's, you can Google it or take a look. I'm sure they have their own site. Guys, basically that's it about the church, and wave goodbye to our viewers.